Hello and welcome to Affinity. We're going to start now talking about using adjustment layers in the editing of photographs, and we're going to do this very slowly and carefully. And the first thing I want you to do is, if you're going to be following on with this, is go to this little eye up here, click on this, and there's a couple of things here just to adjust. We'll talk about what it does later on, but this is to make it easier to understand to start off with. And so where it says here, adding adjustment layer to selection, change this to add adjustment as new layer. And then similarly at the bottom, adding filter layer to selection, change this to adding filter as new layer, and then close. Right then. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start off with the adjustments tab here, and kind of remember how in the first series we talked about a way to do this when we're not looking at layers. So if, for example, we wanted to increase the brightness and contrast here, we click on that, and then we could turn up the brightness of the picture here and change the contrast. And then we'd say merge to keep that. And then we might do something else, like click on the white balance up here. We could pick up one of these presets here. If we click on warm, for example, it makes it a little bit warmer by turning up the yellow in the picture here. And then we now say merge, and so we've kept those, and then we could save the picture. However, the problem with this is that if you want to go back and say, well, hang on a moment, that white balance or the black and white stuff, can I just redo it? And the answer is yes, you can if you use an undo, or if you go down here to the history tab, and you can see all the things you did here, and you can click backwards on these, or just use this backwards here, to go back to where you wanted. But even then, you've still got to be able to edit it. So it's difficult to do that. So what we're going to do is look at this again, but now doing it by using layers. And this does use layers, but you can't see it. So, but we'll see what happens now. What if I click this now? I click this, let's close it up again, but click it once again, and now we've got this again. And now we can adjust the brightness and contrast again here. But if we go to the layers tab now, what's happened is we've got the original layer here, which is the picture, but above it here there's something else, and this has got a white square here, and it says brightness and contrast adjustment, which is this adjustment here. And what we can do with this is we can still turn this up and down here, but if I say, rather than merge here, I just click on the X there, it's disappeared, but it's still here, so I can double click this and it comes back, and I can continue to adjust it. So this is quite useful. What I can do as well with this is if I add something else, so I might go back to the adjustment layer, say, and click on the white balance to get something up here, and again adjust that. Now if I go back to the layers over here, I've got another layer added on top here, and what happens is it is processed in order. So you get the original picture here, then you got the brightness and contrast, and then you got the white balance on top of that. But you can go back, so I can go back to the brightness here, double click the white square there, and I can go back and readjust that brightness. I can even, if this little square at the end here, if I click that, this little checkbox, I click that and it turns off that control. It's like it's not there at all. And so this gives us a lot more control. We can go back, we can adjust things like this, and when we get to a layer like this, we can always delete that layer altogether. If I decide I don't want it, I can delete it. You can do that by going to layer and delete here, or what I normally do is, because my eyes are over here, I right click on it and go down to the delete here, and that's deleted that there. So this is a quick view of this, and this is how we sort of stack up the adjustments, and we can go back, we can change them, we can rearrange them, we can get rid of them altogether if we want to. This makes editing a lot easier, because when you do one thing, it makes a change that affects something you did before, and you might want to go back and readjust it again. So, and I always do this when you've got these. By the way, you can always, if you say file and save here, it'll save it to a file with a .af photo ending, and when you bring it back again, these layers will still be here. If you go to export, then you can save it from there as things like, JPEG or something like that, and that will be an ordinary JPEG, which means these layers are not kept. So if you want to come back sometime in future to re-edit it, save it as a AF photo, so the file save. Anyway, that's it for now, and we'll do more on these another time, and thank you very much for watching.